Live.
I'm live now.
I know, but I'm saying for us both to be on each other live, we gotta go inside each other's platform. I sent you a link.
Okay.
Or do that matter? My
I
live
don't
don't
think.
matter really.
Yeah, it don't.
So we just gonna stay on yours. You ain't gonna stay gonna come over on mine. Cause I can't see screens, two screens at once.
I understand what you. I don't understand what you're saying.
And I might as well end my live on mine to come to yours.
Why?
Because you're not on my live. You get what I'm saying? I'm only on your live, but you're not on mine.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I can't click that. Let me see.
Yeah, if you send me if you click the link that I sent you, I can bring you
Yeah,
on.
I just enter yours.
Okay, let's see if I'll get the invite or not. All right, so we on both each other live, from my
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah. So
Okay,
you want to play something just to get the sauce flowing, so then we get into the vibe.
yeah, we can do that. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, you got volume up or something.
It's up too high.
One, two. It's a little delay.
The delay in it.
Maybe.
Delay.
Hold on, hold on. It might be on my end because yeah. Hold on. That might be on my end. Everybody that's just tuning in, we are just getting this going. So bear with us. Bear with us. Yeah, I can't mute it.
Bear with us in peace.
Okay, it stopped whatever it was doing.
Stop
I
what?
get me all shine. I said it stopped whatever it was doing.
Yeah, I got to connect it to the thing. I just connected it. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
always in the sun, yeah. We see all your money, your niggas always in the sun, yeah. We see all your money, your niggas always in the sun, yeah. We see all your money. Yeah. Yeah. So you can hear me?
I can hear you. I'm starting on my TikTok just for them to be able to tap in and listen.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving. Y'all don't pay no attention to the way I'm looking because I ain't come up here for your looking pleasure. I came up here to drop some information on the culture, and yeah, so I'm not here to impress you look wise. All right.
All righty.
We've been putting in a lot of research and we've been up on the grind with this, so I just want to jump right into it. What I want to show y'all is something that we were doing earlier on the legendary Top Cat. To me, he's one of the best people online that's breaking down the Indian, and when I say Indian, I mean what they would call Black Indians. You know what I'm saying? The other story that often doesn't get told. He does a very good job with explaining a lot of the history that took place. But that's not what we're talking about on this channel right now. I just want to play something from the show earlier because towards the end of the show, we started talking about what Busta Rhymes had put out there about the culture. So I want to play that real quick. That's cool?
Yeah, sure. We here for the knowledge.
All right, here we go.
They can't see on my page what you're playing, but they can hear it.
Okay. I'll make sure it's up.
Yeah. I can't hear no sound.
You don't hear anything?
No, if you playing something for us, we can't hear it.
Okay, hold on. There you go. Yeah.
Nah, but but man, y'all know he's saying what he's told to say. Y'all do know that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a part of it too. Yeah, he's definitely being told to say that. They follow him in the agenda. So is Fat Joe. But some of them actually do believe that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been around the industry for a minute. I've been around the industry, you know what I'm saying, since I think your side is start of Bad Boy Records and you know what I'm saying and all that shit. So you're trying to play it out loud too. A lot of them have been believing that shit, and I call it like immigrants in hip hop. The same way we got immigrants and other things that we've done. They came in and infiltrated that shit too. You know what I'm saying? And they put out the agenda.
They got a lot to do with Haitians and Jamaicans,
Yo.
like in Miami. The Haitians and Jamaicans, when they come over here, they call us Yanks. You know what I'm saying? The Yanks, we supposed to be like the so-called African Americans, but their parents, they feel like we got no culture. They feel like we like ruthless, we bad, like we don't care.
Right.
It ain't that, man. The problem is the Haitians and Jamaicans got nationalities.
Hold on,
So that's the edge they got on us.
Hold on, y'all.
Because law don't quite apply to us. The law, only thing we can find in law is the contract we made.
Hey, hold on. We're gonna do it like this here. We're gonna get the cues going like this, man. Let's get some good energy in here, man. We've been rocking out. How long we been rocking out?
10 hours.
Man. We didn't hit the 10 hour
work in.
Let's get some energy in this. Let's get on the light button. Fuck around might be all night. And let's get some good energy.
Okay, I'm gonna skip it towards. Where they start talking about Buster.
Influencing my music.
Here you go, right here. Even that shit, and I.
The Haitians and Jamaicans got nothing.
Okay, it's about to come.
All right, check it out. Here go Busta Rhymes.
I think that, my family is Jamaican and Latino and Jamaican and Caribbean people, the tropical people, people that understand what that timing and that rhythm and that pocket feels like in a way unlike any other culture of people, from the bass lines to the way we choose to place our words as well in and Uncle Tropics. I think that it's just it's something you can't really define in words. It's a feeling thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you watch Latinos do the South Side of Merengue and you see Jamaican people, do their shit. It's kind of like something that goes hand in hand. And it ain't a coincidence that in every urban community, Latino and Blacks stay together. That ain't no accident. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you find in every urban community, Middle Eastern and Black or Asian and Black. You always see Latino and Black. And I think we just so a part of each other's cultural significance, not only as tropical people, but even here in the United States, where the multicultural, because the U.S. ain't got no culture. They shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. Whatever you want to call it. We still don't know what that culture is for the U.S. But
so I'm gonna stop it because it was doubling up.
Oh, because I added it.
Okay, well you can play it from your end. I didn't know you could do that.
No, I can't play it from my end. I was just adding yours to the screen. But I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, let me finish the audio.
But it's a mix-up of all of our cultures in the urban community. The Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence, and we've always had, and we'll always will, and it's just been that way. So I've actually been influenced by the Latino community, which allows me to feel that much more comfortable putting my West Indian influence in my music, because they made me feel that much more proud to be like, yeah, my Lisa Jamaican, and I say it. But I'm just saying, a lot of the times, it ain't until you're made to feel comfortable giving it to the people who are what you really are, what your influences are, the upbringing in the house, that you do it. So, being that I've been made to feel comfortable doing it, I think I also got to acknowledge and credit the Latinos for their influence on me.
Yeah.
Man, he said a lot. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you want to come up, do it now, because I'm about to be watching it.
Okay, so, I can play what we discussed, at the end, but that's what I want to talk about. I want to give a little build on that. So he said a lot in there, but one of the main things he kept pointing out was that the Latinos and his Jamaican heritage gave the United States their culture. Everybody's talking about it right now. Everybody's like, why did he do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? After all the years that we've done of supporting the brother, in hip hop, all the money, all the concerts that Black people have done. And when you say Black people, it's play on words, a lot of confusion with that. People are trying to tie that into just everything. But when we saying it, we're talking about, you know what I mean? When we say, do you know what I mean? When we say Black people,
Yeah.
Because, people be like, Jamaicans are Black. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about the ones from America, what they call America.
Yeah, but when you use the word Black, it does put it all in a bundle. for them to have that open door to say, well, so and so is black, so and so is black. So unless we identify with what it is outside of adding the color to it, then I think there would be more clarity.
Yeah, that's why we've been using me particular. When people ask me, I say Indian. You know what I mean? I've been using Indian, because that's what my ancestors are. You know what I mean? So I've been focused on that. My father, before he passed away, you know, he spoke to you. He told you on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And he said, I could tell you one too. You know, and so when my father tells me that, you know, and my mother and my grandmother, like when my family's telling me that, everything else is out the window. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. But then let's talk about this hip hop culture. So I feel like people don't understand what, you know, how hip hop started and whatnot. And they give a lot of credit in hip hop. They give a lot of credit to other people. You know what I mean? There's narratives out there like it didn't start here. What have you been told about it as far as like the origins?
What have I been told myself?
Yeah.
Nobody has told me anything. I've always had to do my own research and stuff. Like nobody actually just broke down to me the origins of it outside of you have from your, you know what I'm saying, teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Rankings, but no, they don't talk about that. And where I'm from, they didn't talk about where hip hop was originated at. No, you know, school systems nowhere. So it wasn't a discussion. Let's just say that it wasn't a discussion.
Yeah, you said they wasn't talking about it in the school system or anything.
No, I just thought hip hop come from within, who we are as people, our people. You know, that's what I've always thought without somebody telling me. You know, I automatically felt it, vibed it. So you can tell that it's from, you know,
Yeah.
our people.
So right. So a lot of people started calling it hip hop when it went right. You know, when they think of hip hop, they think of the I'm so echoing this. Listen with mine. You must not have any headphones or something.
Headphones for what? You wanted me to be on my live where people are coming in to watch,
yeah,
and you're live at the same time, so that's why it's echoing. But if I was to end my live, it'll stop all of that. But if I don't end
yeah, I
my
know. I
live,
get that. It's not so it's echoing because of my live. Is what you said? You just muted my mic.
yeah.
Why? Because then it doesn't echo.
No, it don't echo if I mute both our mics on mine.
But they can't hear me on yours.
They should be able to hear you because I got the screen open, but I don't know that 100%. I have to check from my device right here real fast. Okay. Let me check. You can go ahead and finish. I'm just checking.
I don't know how they would. Okay, I'll keep talking. I don't know how they would hear me on yours if my mic is muted and I'm your guest on yours. But okay.
Because I have two screens open. I'm on your platform and mine. So I would think that they can still hear it from your platform.
Okay.
Because let me unmute your mic. Is it echoing?
1 2 1 2. I guess it is. Maybe it's not. It's not echoing to me right now at the moment.
All right.
Okay, so.
My fault.
Okay. Okay, so basically what I was saying was a lot of people, when they identify hip hop right now, they're identifying it from the corporate standard perspective. So when they think of hip hop, they're thinking the business of hip hop. They're not thinking about necessarily the culture of hip hop. And it was cultivated without a name, and then a name was placed upon it. But a lot of the originators will tell you that it was created in New York, as far as the name and the branding or whatever. It started in New York. So they'll point that out, even though when you go listen to James Brown had an interview that you can find on YouTube where he said he started rap. And then you also got people that goes all the way back to like the Florida era, where it was, I think, the 1940s or something, 1930s, where they had groups back then that were rapping, you know. So, and I saw that some of them was even breakdancing. So a lot of people are claiming that they created breakdancing and rapping, but we can find artists from back in the day actually literally doing the windmill, literally doing the back, breakdancing, pop blocking and everything. So, but it went through all these different transitions of blues, jazz, and I'm not saying them in order, ragtime, scatting. You had, you had Galloway in Chicago. So it went through all, music has always went through different phases and stuff. But then it took all those elements and the struggle to create what today is called hip hop. So it was something that was created here. It wasn't created. The reason why we titled it immigration, I call mine Immigration of Hip Hop, because a lot of people are coming in. A lot of immigrants are claiming that they came up with something that our forefathers came up with, and we're just not the generation that's gonna sit here and let that shit fly. It's not like a diss to nobody. It's just like, we're not gonna let y'all sit here and take ownership of something our ancestors created. It's just not gonna happen. So any questions that people may have that come across the channel, anybody that wants to come in later may see the video later, and you feel like you got some point that you want to make, bring it, drop it in the comment section. All our channels on YouTube are new, but we're not new to this thing called hip hop. You know what I'm saying? From the street perspective or the business perspective. I've got many interviews where I've talked about my history inside of the culture. I want to point this out. The culture is not based on a chart that we didn't create. We did not create the Billboard charts. We didn't create that. We didn't create those radio stations. Those radio stations brought what was going on that we created. They came and brought us to those platforms. That means they already had it created. They saw what was going on, and they brought that over there because they saw that it could be a commodity. I'm pointing that out to say hip hop is not controlled by a corporation. Hip hop is something that is controlled by the people that created it. No matter what anyone says, everybody can do it. It's not, you can't do hip hop if you're Spanish. You can't do hip hop if you're white or something. That hip hop wasn't about color, that's for sure. It wasn't about nationality or nothing, but it was created by us. And we're not gonna let that just, we're not gonna let Busta Rhymes or any celebrity sit there and act like they created something that they did.
Yeah, now, given out the wrong history, we have enough of that going on already.
Say that again.
Giving out the wrong history, we already have enough of that going on. They started that in the school systems, telling the wrong history.
Right.
Yeah, they can make things messy. So I feel you.
Oh yeah. They've been lying in the school books. You know, they've been lying across the board. And then the reason why I was calling this immigrants in hip hop is because that's what it is. You know, they talk about how you got to let the immigrants come into America because they're seeking refugee. Well, that's what was going on in the hip hop culture. We let a lot of people come in, you know, and be able to do their 1-2, and it was a way of communicating. We got to know who they were, and they got to know who we were. So it was always a positive thing. But once you start lying on something, is where we got to get more positive about the truth. You know what I mean, and not turn this into some other stuff, because they've been trying to change the narrative too. They've been trying to say, "Oh, you guys are being divisive now because you're stating that you created, your people created it, and now it's like y'all are being racist or something." And it's not, because we're saying who we are and what we created don't mean that we're racist or anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody else don't want to take credit for, want nobody to take credit for something that they created. So that's just that same thing, you know. It ain't racist, it's just somebody claiming what they created. The truth.
Right. And so I was on the Build on Top Cat's channel, and we were talking about the same topic, and a lot of people want to know, you know, are they trying to wipe us out as far as the history of what hip hop is? Like, are they trying to, they'll call it whitewashing, they'll call it like forgetting about, you know, the blacks of America, if you want to say. I'm using the term foundational Black Americans so you can understand what I'm saying. I'm using that term. Indians, are they trying to erase us out of the culture? Do you think that's what's going on?
The Indians, they already try to erase us out of life. Let alone the culture, out of history, everything. They've been trying to erase us.
Right.
So that'll be a yes.
Right.
That will be a yes.
Okay. And this is the thing about it that I was explaining on the chat earlier. I said you can't erase us out. So it's just not reality. So I was telling the brothers earlier, I said, hey, let's not get lost in the illusion. Okay, first of all, if you're lying about how it started, you're lying about what it is, you're lying about the influence, then that means you're trying to erase us out. That's the vibe that's shooting out there. Like, you're trying to erase us out. And so with that being looked at, the conversation came up with, what do we do in order for the youth to know the truth versus the story that they're trying to paint? My example of what we do is we start utilizing these tools the way we're doing right now, and we connect even more. You know, you may not agree with every single thing that a person's channel is about. You may not agree with every viewpoint, but one reason why I got the legendary Top Cat's ticker down there on my thing is because he allowed what they call an open platform, where everyone can come on, and as long as they don't get too out of hand, and speak they part, whether you agree with it or not. And I think that is a strong part of the solution, the communication amongst the foundational Black Americans or Indians, or some will call themselves Moors, some will call themselves Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites. They call themselves, you know, whatever you're calling yourself. If you from this motherfucker, we got to communicate, and we got to squad up no matter what tribe or what we calling ourselves. And we have to establish this network that is creating a chart system for ourselves.
Fact.
So I don't think we should be going on their charts because the hip hop is not based on how much money you got. Hip hop is not based on how how much killing you did. That's not hip hop. That's not what hip hop is based on. Hip hop is also not based on just an up north narrative, because that's something that a lot of people, you can cut me off anytime you got something to say, but that's what a lot of people are pushing. They're pushing it like people were born in New York and they ain't have no parents nowhere else. They just magically appeared in New York State and created hip hop, and that's just not the reality and the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I wanted to play this one too, real quick. Can I play another audio?
Oh, sure.
All right, hold on. The brother Dan Calloway was talking about it too. I want to play what he was saying about this. Stop that. Share this. All right, here you go. Okay.
Into the realest historical planet. His brother, he is raising some serious questions. He's here to make you think. What I'm trying to do is get our people to understand that we have been lied to all the way around about our history. Can you name any other group of people, no matter their skin complexion, that are being labeled primarily as the name of two continents? Not two countries. Two continents. That is called a misnomer, which is the act of applying a wrong name to some person or thing.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes.
I want y'all to check out somebody named Dane Calloway. Dane Calloway? Look into Dane Calloway. He has a lot of information about how this whole shit was told in reverse. Okay, where they say, oh, we came from Africa over here. No, a lot of us was already here.
And information that was put together by a man by the name of Dane Calloway, who is also questioning the slave trade. And he's done some remarkable videos on the history of the slave trade in the United States. And he's gone back down the food chain and gone back down the line, and he's realized that a lot of the so-called African Americans in the United States are not African at all. They're actually Native Americans, because the slave trade did not happen the way we were told that it happened.
It's Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway. Go and watch this man's channel, man. This dude is phenomenal, and he don't get the accolade and his flowers right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude gives some powerful information, some common sense. Go dig deep and research. Maybe even have to spend a couple dollars on research if you truth seeking. Not fact checking, truth seeking. Because there's a difference.
It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
Sorry, I just knocked my iPad over. I just started it on my
How do you think your music has influenced the Latin music and its culture?
I think that, my family is Jamaican and Latino, Jamaican, Caribbean people, with tropical people, with people that understand what that timing and that rhythm and that pocket feels like, in a way unlike any other culture of people, from the bass lines to the way we choose to place our words as people of the Caribbean and of the tropics. I think that it's just it's something you can't really define in words. It's a feeling thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you watch Latinos do the South Side of merengue and you see Jamaican people, do they shit, it's kind of like something that goes hand in hand. And, it ain't a coincidence that in every urban community, the Latino and blacks is there together. That ain't no accident. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you find in every urban community, Middle Eastern and black or Asian and black. You always see Latino and black. And I think we just so a part of each other's cultural significance, not only as tropical people, but even here in the United States, where the multicultural, because the U.S. ain't got no culture. They shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. whatever you want to call it.
He said the U.S. don't have no culture. And he referenced Jamaica and Latinos. He didn't say anything about foundational Black Americans or Indians or anybody, like as far as that's from this landmass.
That's what he was taught only.
That's what
He was taught from his own upbringing of what they instilled in him.
But that's not where he got rapping from, because he was taught the culture of hip hop here in the United States. You understand what I'm saying? Busta didn't learn. Nobody was rapping. Nobody had hip hop in Jamaica. Hip hop didn't start in Jamaica. It started here in the States.
Man, he might have was told that. He had to get that information somewhere.
That's why I'm gonna keep playing it, but that's why Dane was saying New York cats need to school him, and somebody needs to school him. But I don't think he's missed school. Like, how can you do a song with Janet Jackson? Who's Michael Jackson's sister? How can you do all the things he's done across his career, dealing with the culture, to actually act like Michael Jackson wasn't Jamaican, bro?
I was thinking that it's all kind of individuals that do hip hop, and he was just collaborating with them, but still thinking that it was originated from his culture, from his upbringing. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not inside his mind and know what he's thinking, but it's wrong. However, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just wrong. I'm gonna keep playing it.
We still don't know what that culture is for the U.S., but it's a mix-up of all of our cultures. And in the urban community, the Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence, and we've always had, and we'll always will, and it's just been that way. So I've actually been influenced by the Latino community, which allows me to feel that much more comfortable putting my West Indian influence in my music, because they made me feel that much more proud to be like, yeah, man, me's a Jamaican, and I say it. But I'm just saying, a lot of the times, it ain't until you're made to feel comfortable giving it to the people who are what you really are, what your influences are, your upbringing in the house, that you do it. So, but even here in the United States, where the multicultural, because the U.S. ain't got no culture, they shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. whatever you want to call it. We still don't know what that culture is for the U.S., but it's a mix-up of all of our cultures. And in the urban community, the Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence we've always had.
Huh?
You heard him mention that was his upbringing. That's what he was told. A lot of people are finding out that they've been lying about their history and stuff too, even though that's what they were told. And so people are starting to find out the truth. And this is what you're saying. I get it.
Oh, I see what you're saying too. You're saying that some people told Christopher Columbus discovered America. So they're out there saying that because that's what they was taught.
Right, exactly.
Some people so Santa Claus put the gifts under the tree.
Right. Because that's what they was told. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They put some salt and pepper in your eyes if you don't go to your ass to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All that type stuff. So.
And see, this ain't no shot at Busta Rhymes. Like I like Busta. You know what I'm saying? Like I got heavy respect for Busta as an artist. You know what I mean? I don't know him personally. As an artist, I got a lot of respect for him. Because it takes to do what, you know, to do this hip hop thing, whether you're on a worldwide stage or you just doing it for the people directly in the street, it still takes, you know, a certain amount of focus. So I always respect him. So this is not a Busta Rhymes diss or nothing. I'm not gonna be one of the people that just come out here dissing people because they have, you know, celebrity status or something. That's not what I'm into.
You can't be what Busta Rhymes was on.
Huh?
You can't be like what Busta Rhymes is on.
What do you?
USA talking about they in the United States, they don't know nothing. They get all that shit from us. You know, that's a diss to me.
Yeah, it could be. It's not a diss to me because it's a lie. So you know what I'm saying? I don't take it as a diss. I'm just saying.
You don't say it like that now, like, you know what I'm saying? Man. But okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's a lie. It's a lie. And like I said, I'm not here to diss the brother at all. You know, I'm here just saying that that's a lie. We're gonna tell the truth. You know what I mean? So let me finish playing it real quick. Cause it's going, I like how it goes.
And we'll always will.
Dane Calloway, call in real quick because now I got one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play one more. But Dane, call in, King. I did enough. We are the key makers, the gatekeepers to our own culture, and I can see why people don't want to stand next to us because you know if you stand into a month, then it's gonna sound arrogant, right? Why you pushed us to be more arrogant than what we ever be. Because you stand, we gonna outshine you some way, somehow. Not saying that your culture, what you claim to be as your culture, is not rich. It doesn't have any excitement or love or things to it. Nobody's not saying that. See, we don't disrespect other people's cultures like that. Like we don't try to claim what y'all hold dear to your heart, which is your culture, man. And I'm not just talking about Jamaicans. I'm talking about each and last one of you motherfuckers, Cubans, Mexicans, Dominicans, Trinis, and everybody. We understand that culture is important. That's what you know. That's your lineage. That's your connection. That's in your DNA. Come on, man. So we have to respect that. But y'all niggas trying to look down on our shit when we are the culture. Y'all really need a fucking rewiring. Y'all niggas need some real soul searching. Bad. We have a great culture which we love, but we was careless with our culture, very careless, but very, very loving by opening our arms and saying, hey, this is for y'all too. You see, y'all, when you be too nice, y'all get taken advantage of. Y'all know what I'm saying? We've been too friendly with the culture, fam. All these niggas dressing like us, taking our culture, saying nigga, but we can't say spick or other shit. That'd be crazy. We go around them and start saying, yeah, you fucking, you know what I mean? What up, spick? Niggas ain't gonna like that, but niggas got so comfortable with saying the nigga shit. But see how they want to be selective when they want to be black or they want to be their own culture. You see that? I understand we grew up in the same neighborhood, but come on now. Y'all niggas is very selective. Y'all want to be black when y'all want to be. None of them care about us. They just want to use us. We are the damaged fucking goods, man. We are the what you call it? Cash cow for everybody. Like it just don't stop. Because when we create, they take, they use. Like, you know what I mean? So they have to keep us mentally here. That's why it all starts with the mental, man. We have to really unlearn and relearn some stuff. It's the mentality, y'all. You really have to smarten up and protect our shit like everybody else protect their culture. For real. Keep your head up. Keep your head high, family. Because we the shit. We the shit in the piss, baby.
We all that and some. Don't ever let nobody tell you different, nigga. Let me take this one last call. We got Cali in the motherfucking building. 323, what it be?
This is Dane Calloway, brother.
Oh, what's good? What's good? Can't talk to me. What up, family? What's your thoughts?
Now, I find it very interesting that Busta Rhymes came out of his mouth and said something like that.
Right.
What people got to realize is that he's saying that now after he done made millions off of our culture.
Facts.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I personally bought all of his albums.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm very surprised that he would come out of his mouth and say something like that.
Right.
Like, that's not, I mean, but that's a message, though. I'm going to be real. That's a message to our people because, like you said earlier, that's clinging on to the people that don't want to step up and demand respect for what they have done over time. Now, he wouldn't have said this years ago because everybody would have shot him down verbally.
Right.
But he knows nobody going to come back him right now in the hip-hop game because look at hip-hop now. So he feels as though he earned the right to say that, and which he didn't. But who's going to tell him that he wrong? Who's going to tell him that he wrong? That's what I want. I would want somebody that, like, for example, remember you brought up DMX. X would have put him in his spot.
Right.
You heard that?
Yeah.
God bless it. God bless DMX. God bless. Yeah. He said X would have put him in his spot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that would have, corrected that. And hopefully it's getting corrected.
If he would have went on a Drink Champs and said that, they would have corrected him.
No. You know why?
That they're not from here.
Noriega is from here, but he also has like he's like mixed, Dominican and what's his name. So he's black and I think he's black and Dominican. But that not saying that you can't be from here, because I think that not saying that you can't be mixed and talk about hip hop, but saying that Busta Rhymes was on Drink Champs.
He made that statement though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. So I can't say if Noriega would have, straightened it or not. I don't know. I do know Noriega, is black also, what I'm saying? And it's not saying Busta Rhymes, I don't know his full background. He could be mixed. He could be from Jamaica and from over here. I don't know. I really don't care. The point that I'm pointing out is that it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then, but it's opening up a conversation, and not just a conversation about. That's why I like the brother that was talking to Dane and what they were saying, because it's opening up a dialogue of what we gonna do. Are we gonna sit here and keep going down a path that's outdated, that was filled and based on a lot of lies, or are we going to? There's one time. Have you seen that post that Puffy was talking about where he said R&B is dead?
Yeah.
And then they had a conversation and they was talking about how Justin Bieber and they were trying to like give the R&B over to the white artists or whatever.
Yeah.
So Nas at one time said hip hop was dead. Marketing strategies, maybe. Who cares? The point is though that neither one.
Did he mean it from the mainstream wise? Like the mainstream hip hop is dead?
When Nas said it?
Yeah. Like the mainstream hip hop is dead. Like they done killed off the mainstream hip hop, meaning it ain't the real hip hop anymore.
Yeah, but the Nas had whatever theory he had. Like I said, it could have been a marketing. I don't know what be in their mind, but I know that hip hop can't die as far as the culture. It is a culture. It's tied into the soul culture, which is the culture, it's the combination of everything our ancestors have done. So when you sampling is a form of frequency resurrection. You can resurrect the energy of James Brown, Michael Jackson, Prince, different ancestors. You can resurrect their energy, and that's what sampling is. And it didn't start in Jamaica. Copying it started all around the globe. A lot of people have copied it. You know what I'm saying? So you can sample the Beatles, but it's not going to be at the same frequency level that where the Beatles learned it from. You understand what I'm saying? And the Beatles will tell you themselves who they study and who they learn from. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll tell you that. I'm not talking about if they come out now with something new because of whatever agenda, but if you watch the archive, a lot of white artists, you know, we know some white artists, they give it up. They say,
I had a friend that was saying that they gave it up to the guy that he was a black artist that he was getting his blueprint from.
Right. And some Latinos, like I said, we're not gonna push it off on all Latinos or all immigrants. Some immigrants know and they give it up. A lot of the youth don't know though. And that's where I was talking about on Top Cat's channel. Yeah, that's where we come into play at. We actually have to start. We have to start giving them the truth. Right. We gotta start telling the youth, like, no, this is what it really is. You know, they don't want y'all to know how powerful y'all are. You know?
Yeah, that was my title today.
What?
Be powerful versus powerless.
Oh yeah, that's a good title.
Mm-hmm.
Be powerful versus powerless.
Yeah, like full. Be full of your power versus less in it, because you can either be full of empty. So yeah, be powerful instead of powerless, because we are powerful people, and that's what they try to deprogram so many people from seeing and knowing and believing, like you were saying.
Yeah, and to add to that, this is the thing. In this video, it may get hated on, it may not get pushed, and if to be honest, if our people don't push it, I don't want to hear nothing about what we need to do, because I don't care how many followers you got or if somebody's just coming on YouTube. We have to start pushing each other, not just one person pushing everything, but you got to push everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you got to connect with everybody, because that's how we control our culture. We determine what is going on in the culture, not the corporate America, not YouTube, not TikTok. You know, in a minute they're going to try to tell us that whatever they're saying to do in Asia or Europe is what we need to be doing in our culture. You know what I'm saying? So here comes the tailor suits. Here comes the custom suits. Ain't nothing wrong with wearing that, but let's remember what our culture is and let's determine our culture. I'm looking at my feathers while I'm saying this, because the feathers is part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? We got to get back to showing the tribe, and the tribe can't be hating on each other in the process. We got to push each other and support each other, so these youngers know, you know, the truth. Because if we don't, it's going to make it seem as if they have to go somewhere else to get what they already got.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to think, oh, I can't be a rapper, because if I'm not talking about killing somebody, You know, if I'm not talking about how much work I got in the streets, nobody's gonna want to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I got to compete with all that stuff, and that's not what the culture is initially about. It's like, of course, you can talk about things that you made it through.
It's
You
not
can talk
about.
about whatever you want, but that's not, you know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I ain't mean to cut you. I was just saying, even from a female perspective about hip hop, it's not all about twerking and thought shit only
Right.
and beefing with each other and who's the best this and who's the best that. It's
Right.
about the creativity, evolving each other, pushing each other, and 'cause we all are powerful beings. We have that magical essence in us. And I seen a post. A girl put a meme up. She was like, it said something about I want to be a rapper, and then the mother or the parent was like, that's not real reality. So they act like hip hop and being creative and doing music is not real reality. It's like you just dream world. It's not going to get you nowhere. They just down it so much to where it's way more powerful than anybody can imagine because of the hurt, the frequency, the healing ability, the educational ability. It saves lives. You know what I'm saying? It just does so much and get older. It's so much through it, hip hop and creative like breakdance and graffiti. It stretches beyond just the mic. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to hip hop. So,
Yeah, and a lot of times they try to put it in a box and they try to say that we are, this is how it started. These are the rules to it. All the stuff that they try to do with everything else. Like, they try to make it seem like we got everything from Africa, that we're from Africa, and that everything we got, that we were brought over here on some slave ships, and that, the whole y'all from Africa and the only thing y'all was slaves story. They push that, and the youngins hopefully don't believe that.
A lot of them do believe it, honey. I hate to say it, but I'm a researcher and an analyst on the young youth, the generations, and they believe it. They're African pride all day long, all day strong. And when I do from on my TikTok platform, sometimes when I do bring it up, they be like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that." I would like to know more because they wasn't aware that it was something else outside of African. A lot of them, and it was just it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, some of them are from Africa.
I know, but the ones that are
not. You're talking about the ones that's not.
Yeah, and everybody speaks a different sound in a different language when there are different nationalities and stuff.
Everybody what?
Speaks a different language and a different sound from different areas. The Asians, they speak a different sound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just going with sound because we're talking about hip hop and all that, so I'm getting sound for that.
Different rhythms too.
Yeah, everybody speaks different energy, sounds and stuff. Everybody sounds different, so you kind of know where you're from by just the sound and the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when Busta Rhymes was saying what he was saying that that the Latinos made him put his made him feel confident or whatever about putting his Jamaican thing in there, which that's his personal experience. That may be so. Yeah, but what everybody is looking at is the fact that you said culture wasn't created, that the U.S. didn't have no culture.
Right.
Yeah. And now if he is clarifying that, saying, when I say U.S., I'm not talking about it doesn't make sense in context.
No, but they said they got it from us. They got all their shit from us. It's like we don't have no culture, but we copied their culture, and that's how we became who we are in hip hop through them. It's from what I got when I heard it.
That's what everybody got.
Allegedly.
Nah, that's what it was. That's what everybody got from that, because he made sure he made Jamaicans and Latinos distinctive from the United States, and he didn't mention Indians or black people of
They
the
must
Americas.
pay him a nice little check for that one.
Yeah, whatever they did is whatever they did, because you're right, it had to be some kind of bread involved, right? But and you know, do what you do. But my thing is what I'm liking about it, because there is something I like about it. I don't like the statement, but it's too late to retract the statement. So what I'm liking about it is the conversation that it's creating amongst all of us.
Right.
And that's why I say
true history.
And the best hip hop is not found on the radio. The purest hip hop is not found on. I mean, you can see that even with today's rappers, the young boys, even though they're slowly getting to the essence of it, because it's a lot for them to deal with. Like, they've been lied to, confused and stuff. So we can't expect so much out of them if they're being hit with, hey, talk about this dumb shit and we're gonna pay you all this money. But we can say that the record labels are looking at what's popping on the internet before they're looking for the person that already has a record deal. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is I'm trying to say that one thing that hasn't changed in America when it comes to music is it's always been found in the rarest places of America, not by a corporate machine, but more so by the people themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if you think back in history when Mary J. Blige was telling her story a while back, how she was discovered, they came into the hood. And a little small little place she was performing at to install her.
Right.
Saying that's pure talent. That's where it's about, you know. So yeah.
Right.
It ain't about who got the most views or the most streams online. And if you ain't talented or not, we still care about the streams and the views type mind state. You know what I'm saying? Not if it's hip hop or not. It's just about the streams and the views. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said they really took hip hop as far as mainstream and washed it away as far as mainstream, but not in the street.
Right.
And stuff, yeah. That's been there. It's gonna stay there. Gonna always be the root of it, the blood of it, the mud of it. But that mainstream stuff, that ain't hip hop. So they, and you know, hip hop dead. The mainstream artists and the celebrities that's stating that, that's because they're in that vortex with the mainstream, where mainstream has to push that agenda and they're a part of it, as hip hop is dead. That's why Nas can go and collaborate with Nas X and then all this other stuff that it connects is going on, because they are in that vortex of the mainstream. So hip hop is dead in the mainstream, but not over here where we at.
So you think, dang, you said something deep just now. So some of these, because, you know, for a while, they were saying that we were expanding hip hop. If it wasn't for Eminem, he expanded the genre to white people. So maybe Nas is thinking, not him, but maybe the marketing of whatever they were doing is thinking hip hop needs to go into that area as well. Like
their hip hop, yeah. Their mainstream hip hop, yeah.
Right.
That's mainstream hip hop. That's their version of hip hop. So people have to think that way because he's in that vortex of mainstream. He's a celebrity. He's a He's in that mainstream.
He's in the business. He's in the business.
Business of it. So as far as the business of it, mainstream, they have to think that way to keep operating in that arena that they're in.
Because they're looking at
able to capitalize.
Yeah, I'm about to say because they're looking at numbers.
Right.
So they're looking like, yo, it's more white people that's gonna buy and spend this type of money, and it's more gay people that's gonna spend this type of money than it is inside the culture. That's the narrative they try to paint.
Yeah.
But this is not true. You know, but it's their business, and that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying on the other podcast today. I was saying the same way they have their business, we have our business. Our business is based on skills, not skills of auto-tone, not skills of rapping super fast but ain't saying nothing. I don't care if you saying the bumblebee, humblebee, tumblebee, crumblebee, trumblebee, trumblebee. Every time I tell the tail, a bit of better to the cattle, get a bit of better. Nobody care about that shit. Anybody spat about it. Anybody got it better, jada, better, rat, tatter. Everybody got it better, better. Itty bitty kitty bitty titty bitty titty. Go right. It sounds cool, but when it comes to skills, I'm an MC, right? I don't care if you think I don't have enough money. You don't know how much wealth I have.
Yeah. Talent is way more valuable than your talent is more valuable than the money. So
wealth is not determined by money.
Right.
Money is just a piece of paper that got people pictures on it that don't look exactly like you. So that is not determine if you call yourself a king or a god or just a regular black person. That shouldn't determine your wealth.
Right.
So it's an illusion to think that it requires that for you to be considered authentic or something real in hip hop. So that measuring stick is off. Right. So they'll be like, who's the best rapper? DJ Khaled did it when he was on Drink Champs. They said, who's the best rapper? He was like, well, we base rap upon who's doing the numbers on the charts. How many people are you influencing?
That's we, meaning the industry, the mainstream. That's when he say we, he's talking about the business. He ain't talking about nobody outside of the mainstream that are not celebrities and well known and everywhere. So we can't put ourselves in what they're talking about because they're on a whole nother business of what they paint hip hop as. We're different. So
yeah.
We can't say not we because it's they. You know what I'm saying? We are we and they are they. If I am me, who are you? However you want to say it.
Yeah, yeah. And so I get that too. But what I'm trying to say is that when he does that, when he takes our culture and make it seem like it's based upon a chart that we don't control, and that if they try to make it seem like, okay, in order for you to be in hip hop, you have to. It's like they try to compare it to the NBA. It's like, okay, all you underground artists, all y'all are not in the NBA. Y'all street players. Y'all not in the NBA. Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Puff Daddy, DJ Khaled, that's the NBA. You guys are just some big, not even big three. You guys are just like an one or something. Y'all in the streets.
Yeah, it's like the same with history. They want us to think that we were just slaves and we were nothing, and we were poverty and poor and it never have. It's that same theory. You know what I'm saying? It's that same game to say that.
Right. And I got a family member that said one time, he said, why would I go sign some shit to get less than what I already got?
Exactly.
Meaning, some of these rappers are signing their whole time away, and time is more important than anything, right? So they're signing their time away for something that some of them need to do it because they don't have absolutely nothing. But some of them actually have something, but they're being told that they don't. So then they don't go handle the business of what they have because they thinking they don't have nothing. They've been told what you just said. Oh, y'all come from slaves. Oh, y'all underground. You don't have nothing. You need to sign this contract so you can get you something.
Taken from y'all ain't got nothing. But we have the power to give you it back. So if you come over here, we can give you your goddamn 12 acres and a mule.
But don't ask us who your grandma is. Don't get to know your daddy though. Don't get to talk to your mama and your daddy at the same time so they can tell you who you really are. Stay away from that. Just do the thought stuff, do the drug selling, do all the gang banging stuff. But don't you niggas talk to each other about who y'all really are. You know, and that's the narrative that it's not gonna work no more. To me, it never worked. It only worked on someone that was very lost on who they are, like and ignorant. But it's never worked on people that know who they are.
Because that's what they were programmed. They programmed them through the school systems, you name it, to think that way. So it ain't even by fault. It's just what they force a lot of people. That's why it's many that are like this, because they were programming them through every situation possible to make sure they didn't stop thinking for themselves to even tap in, like you said, to who they are and who their parents and stuff are. They keep them so busy with homework after school and you name it, to where you don't have family time too much, and the mom and dad off trying to go make a living and work. It's a separation thing for them to even not even have to deal, because they could be trying to keep up with the mainstream and the motherfucking America's agenda, period. So I get what you're saying when you say keep busy, where they can't even talk to the mom and the dad to find out, or even take the time to see history. When the whole America shut down, I believe that's when people finally started realizing and looking back. They're like, what's going on? Because they don't told us all this, and now we don't came to this. So I got to look for something else outside of what they've been telling us.
Yeah.
Because we ain't what they thought. We thought we were.
Yeah, and this internet, there's a new industry. I want to get into that before we before we end the show. I want to talk about, are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Okay. I'm just, I got to know those things.
Yeah, with so many, with the end and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as my mouth, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm being careful. So I want to talk about that though. I want to talk about, what was I just saying?
The new industry.
The new industry. Okay, let's go there. If anybody's saying anything on TikTok too, you got to translate it to me. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, shout out to everybody on TikTok. Maybe D up there. But anyway, what I was going to say was the new industry is what is going on right now. This is not something that has.
I'm on my Facebook too, my main Facebook live.
Okay, so you're on TikTok and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the new industry is what's going on right now, right? I was on the other podcast earlier today explaining how I created this module. Let me go live on my Facebook too. If you on yours, let's go there tonight.
Yep, I added as many. You can add as many as you want, and I added them all. Y'all let the word get out.
You added yours in the beginning, huh?
No, later. You can add it later. You just gotta go to.
Oh, you can add it. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, let's get it popping then. Yeah, let's get it popping. All right. Okay. So what I was saying was I was talking about the new industry, and basically, we're in the new era, and it's totally different from what everybody thought it was going to be, right? So you had people that signed these contracts based on what the old industry was. So when the new industry got in place, they didn't know how to adapt. Record companies closed. Some people just let me get the last of the last that I can get before I can't get it no more. I'm talking about CEOs, A&Rs, marketing people. There's so many marketing people that went to college that don't know marketing, even though they studied the term, and they come online and they take from the people that are creative geniuses. They take their intellectual properties, concepts, ideas, and they take them to these corporations and sell the marketing strategies to them.
Heck yeah.
Right?
Fact.
So, right. So I created this module, right? Because I knew that this was all coming. How could I say that? And how could I know that? Right? Because everybody on YouTube says, I created this first and I did this and I did that.
Soulja Boy.
Yeah, everybody's on the Soulja Boy. You know what I'm saying? I was the first rapper to do woo-woo. Right. But as Soulja Boy could do with some of the things he has said, I can back it up. Right. So I have proof that certain things I put in place before everybody was doing it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the module. This is something I have not talked about on the public platform. This is something that if you tap into it, it's going to do all kind of things for your brand, right? So this is major. DJ Khaled can't tell you this. It's not a record executive, CEO in Universal or Sony that can tell you what I'm about to tell you. And the reason why I say that is because the only way you can operate this module or know exactly how it can expand is you had to focus on nothing else but that, right? So when someone invents something, they got to put a lot of energy on it. I put a lot of energy into this hip hop culture for the new era of it. So before I lay it out, you got to understand what recently happened. What recently happened in the industry recently was it hit a ceiling, because you can only go but so far before you have to just stop. So when the MP3 came, all that stuff, we ain't got to go through all that. But when all these different formats came, a lot of the old marketing people and old artists got kind of pushed down, right? But then also came in the technology and the software, and it got it to the level of what they call in the metaverse, 3D modeling, AI technology, and all of that. There's rappers that are using that format. There's singers that are using that, but they're doing it in the way that was done in the old module. So if you're using the software like you would use it when you were signed to a record deal in the 90s, you're gonna lose. If your audience, if you're talking to the audience that is still just looking at you from the 90s, guess what? You got to keep doing 90 songs over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You got to keep doing the same thing. And that, for an artist in the new era, is like it's like a mental death, because you have all these new material that you are not allowed to express because of the contracts that you might have signed in the 90s. You understand? Okay, so I want to get that there to say this. The module, it works like this. When you sign into Facebook or you sign into YouTube or you sign into your Apple phone, you can get sponsored from either one of these corporations. So if an artist is in a 360 deal, right, they get a percentage of all of those corporations. You understand? So then the artist that's not using the new module, they walk away with a very low percentage because there's a bunch of business deals that already took place before the artist can see what they need to see if they're using an outdated contract that was created on the old, based on the old module, right? What's 360 plus 360? 720, right? So some of these artists are thinking they're in a 360 deal, but they're really in a 720 deal because you're in a 720 deal when you sign an agreement that was built on a module that don't exist no more. So if you were like, well, I was getting money from shows, you know, I get my money from shows. Okay, nobody's at the club though. We had COVID. What you gonna do? Right?
Okay.
So when COVID hit, that's why I said it happened very recently. When COVID hit, all the artists that was on tour was like, damn, you know, I gotta stay afloat. Because that was the main way they was eating. Those are what they call 360 artists. They still, you know, gotta break it off and break their entourages off and all that stuff, but they still eating the less. So then when COVID let up, they was trying to like, okay, well, good. Now we can go back out here and do the same thing we were doing before. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of YouTubers that are sitting at the crib chilling. There's multi-million-dollar YouTubers out here and multi-million-dollar TikTokers, multi-million-dollar people through StreamYard, Zoom. There's so much business going on that was created inside. You can cut me off. Created inside the new module. Go ahead.
So that leads back to when you were saying that they try to make it seem like that if you was the Jay-Z's and them, you winning, but y'all ain't nothing. Y'all the players on the bench. Because think about it, all these YouTubers that's sitting at home and all these people that are doing it now, because it wasn't that many. Because, you know, you've been on YouTube for years before anybody was there. A lot of people even on YouTube, right? And SoundCloud and all that. We've been on there for over a decade. So everybody who had to sit still because they the same way the industry couldn't tour, the 9-to-5ers couldn't go to work. So they created another source and started opening up YouTube channels and stuff. They started seeing that they can do it from the comfort of their homes and use their own creativity, and that one way and 2 ways and 3 ways that they try to present, like going to the military, you know, all the shit they try to put there for you to think that those are the only things you're capable of. It rose. So the streets rose. Now the industry looking at them and trying to get their concepts and their things to stay afloat because that's the new industry. And the shutdown boosted it off. It launched it off. It launched it on off.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is you're saying not only in the music, but also in the 9-to-5 thing. Because people started working from home.
Yeah,
some
and
people
so
started
they
doing what it
podcast
was like to work from home.
and then they like, shit, before I go clock in, I can do this podcast and make, you know, and build it up and put the time in that I would be going to clock in and wait for a 2-week check into this situation.
Yeah, as well as working from home for a corporation or something. Yeah,
Exactly.
some people had to learn how to Zoom for the first time.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
find out that they can do things at home too that they was doing at work. Yada
Right.
yada yada. So yeah, it
And
was a
this is
switch, is what I'm
yeah,
trying
and this
to
is
say.
yeah, and this is the thing. Some people got caught off guard by the switch
Yeah.
because and this is the thing. There's we knew that was coming, right?
Right.
Because we studied on it for so long that we knew that was coming, so we were prepared for that switch happening. This is the thing that I'm trying to communicate to people out there is that you don't look for the expertise in a situation from someone that got caught off guard and it was a surprise to them. So if you have a record executive, right? I'm just gonna put it out there because you know what I'm saying. Like, God damn it, it's 2022. Anybody that I mention, do not think I'm dissing you because this ain't about me dissing you. Because these niggas be killing themselves. They be egotistical and stuff. So when you try to use a certain thing, they'll get in their little feelings. Steve Stout, right? This is an example of the difference between a marketing director like me and a marketing director like Steve Stout. Steve Stout was able to go to Nas, say, Nas, I can get you a check from Hennessy. Hennessy may not know who Nas was at the time, didn't have the relationship to get that agreement signed. Steve Stout was the middle person that could bring that together, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand.
Okay. So with Steve Stout doing that, that was cool, but it was also based in a module that's outdated. In this new module, it's not about that. It's about interacting directly, faster, quicker, and not being a middleman, but being the man. So instead of saying, well, I got all the independent artists out there, instead of saying, hey man, I gotta go to this person and do this. No, you don't. All you have to do is go directly to the person that you want to collaborate with. We're in an informational and sharing era, right? So we shared this live. We're sharing information. We're sharing our thoughts. We're in an informational era, so we're learning a lot of things. If an executive or a marketing person doesn't understand that, the only thing they're going to be able to do is get outdated money that's not going to equal out to real wealth. Real wealth comes from two sources. I'm talking about as an artist now. I'm talking about as an artist. As an artist, it comes from your first source is not how many people you got. So if you got a million followers, some of these what they call big acts in major industry, you can have all that support because you're paying all this money to get all these followers and to keep their attention through the commercials or whatever. That is more expensive than it costs the person that ain't got to spend none of that money, don't have that large following, but has a loyalty in place, right? So you use the YouTuber for an example, right? A YouTuber that may have 50,000 loyal motherfuckers every time they show up, they're on deck, right? They send in the cash app, they supporting whatever it is. TikTokers, your people over there, they like, hey man, we mess with Ricky. They supporting it. That is more valuable. You may have 50, you may have 1,000 loyal people that's more valuable than 1 million people that are going to be on to the next hottest single and going to put you in competition based on chart position. You understand?
Yeah, it's a theory. I'd rather have 50 pennies. I mean, I don't rather have 50 pennies than something, whatever they say. Yeah.
Would you rather have 50 pennies or $1, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jay-Z says it, less is more.
Yeah.
What did he mean when he say less is more? He meant what he said, less is more. You know, the more valuable something is, the less people it requires, right? So the new module, it was placed, what I did, and I can prove it, and this wasn't nobody put me on. Everybody that knows me or want to get to know me can ask me questions and stuff. People that know me know I've been in the background of the industry for a long time. They know, you know, that I've been peeped the game a long time ago. And in the process of peeping that game, I was able to create this module to say, hey, these little pieces need to be put in place in order for this generation to actually become wealthy. The way they're going to become wealthy is not going to be if your YouTube channel gets banned or your TikTok gets slowed down, or you think that you got to break through. This is another illusion they do. Before algorithm, you needed just rhythm. So some people had no rhythm. Some people cannot, you know, they just don't have rhythm. So then you got to create artificial rhythm. Artificial rhythm is algorithm. Algorithm is not based on frequency. It's based on input. It's not, algorithm is not based on data output. It's based on data input. Data input cannot be stronger than frequency output. So they cannot control the frequency that we put out. They can only control the input of the data they put in. Why I say that is because the illusion that they gave us back in the day was saying, hey, y'all are just slaves. Hey, you were just you didn't create this hip hop culture. If it wasn't for us in this music, this industry, nobody would care about your little culture. All that's lies because we cared about it, right? So what made them even see that it was a commodity was because our frequency was so dang, you know what I'm saying? So algorithm, you don't have to figure out the algorithm. You don't have to, they pushing me down in the algorithm. Don't worry about that. That's for them anyway. That's something they're inputting. We don't want people to see this person, or we want people to think this, or that's them inputting. What we got to do is utilize this module that I got in place. The module that I got in place was already placed in side of the industry itself. So if I already went to old school artists and already implemented my marketing strategy inside of their campaigns through the marketing directors at their companies that they did not know I trained. So there was a lot of young people going to a lot of these companies that were developed by me. I just didn't make it public. So what I mean to say is you got people that go to college, right? They do interns. They also want to get a position at a label. Well, guess who in the street they come and talk to? Your boy. And I've talked to them and I told them, hey, do this. They're going to tell you not to do it. They're going to tell you this, and you're going to have to do this, but you can do this. So implement these little things inside of this. It took those little elements, and it took all these other little strategies, even that I've done with legendary artists, to where they don't know I helped them. Some of them do know. Some of them I was literally at my house and we talked directly, but some of them don't know. Most of them, there's more that don't know I helped them. I'm talking about from saving their lives to also their careers, to helping them stay afloat. Some know I helped them and some don't know, right? I'm not going to get into the name thing right now. It would take the right interview for me to go further into that. But the point that I'm making is this module is already in place They're already operating on it. The problem is that they're running around trying to find out who's the executive or who's the person that has the keys to the ship. Metaphor. What I mean is DJ Khaled doesn't have the keys. He has marketing because, you know, it's Hip Hop Harry. You do the Hip Hop Harry thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying? Hip Hop Harry. It's rhythmatic, based on a nursery rhyme. Shit works, right? But that's not the keys to the ship. We got the keys. We know where that song came from, right, Reed? So the keys to the ship are based upon the fact that it was already put in place.
Right.
So where we headed next is not going to be based on. I hate to bust everybody bubble, and I would talk out any executive can come up here and challenge it. You know what I'm saying? The way some of these cats be like, I'm about to debate. When it comes to this industry stuff, come challenge me if you think it. Don't shoot a blank shot. What they do is they'll go on Instagram, post some old subliminal stuff because they scared to come right to my face and challenge me on live or something. You know what I'm saying? But if any executive out there want to talk to me about any business and think that I'm all for something, holla at me. You know what I'm saying? Throw that out there. So what I was trying to say is they don't know. That's why the music sounds like it sounds. Because people are wondering where to go next with it, right? That's why the marketing looks the way it looks. Does the marketing look good? No. Because these niggas, you on TikTok? Because these people are scared of dealing with the truth. They rather deal with something that these youngins are not going to resonate with. The youngins don't believe in the Santa Claus thing no more. I'm not talking about 5-year-olds. You know, I'm not talking about like, 5 and 6. I'm talking about youngins like the millennials and the Gen Zs. They don't believe in Santa Claus. They know what Santa Claus is. Macy's and Sears, Macy's was still trying to hold on. Kanye was on Instagram going off at the Gap. You know what I'm saying? He's just going off for everybody at Gap. So in this time frame, you have to be more realer, especially when you got the informational highway giving all this information out, right? You can't tell people that Masons are the devil because people can pull it up and do all kind of research on, different levels of Masons and different levels of the church and stuff. And it's not about who's right and who's wrong more than it's about what you want to do based on what you have in front of you to do. And the module has to be operated in that exact way. So Busta Rhymes can say what he wants to say. It's, freedom of speech. But just because he says it doesn't mean that that's what the module is going to accept. Because the main thing about the module is that it will only accept high frequency and truth.
Okay.
You hear that?
Okay.
So if the truth is not inside the marketing, people are going to pull it up now and say you're lying. I'm not buying that. If the truth is not inside the music, it's not going to resonate. People are going to be like, it's cool, but it's artificial. You got to do some drugs just to get it to resonate. So then it's not really resonating. You just high. You just think it's resonating. But when you want pure resonation on high frequency, you can hit a blunt and get somebody, You understand? The soul in there. Soul cannot be taken out of none of the music. It can't be taken out of country. It can't be taken out of R&B. It can't be taken out of pop. We need soul in pop. If you take soul out of pop, that's inputting instead of outputting the frequency that the universe operates on. How do you heal the world? Michael Jackson already told us. The problem is when Michael Jackson was telling us how to heal the world through the vibration, I'm talking about through that frequency he tapped in, not necessarily the words, but the sound and the frequency and the pitch and the tone and the timing that he was able to execute. And the reason why that was able to take place and everybody, it resonated with the globe, not just America, was because of the soul. So when Busta Rhymes gets up there and say the United States don't have no culture, he's a motherfucking lie. Excuse me, TikTok. He's a lie. The soul, the reason why everybody wants to come over here to what they call the United States is because of the soul york. This is fertile soil. And it's also soul. You know what I'm saying? This is, if you look at every single story around the globe, nobody has a story like what they call the slaves or the black Indians, whatever you want to try to put on us. Nobody has a story like that across the whole globe. That doesn't mean everybody don't matter. It means our story matters and we don't need someone else to tell it. And we're not going to have to tell it based on television, right? We're going to have to, we don't even have to tell it. It's showing in real time. So that's the other part of the module. So, okay, you got the key already in the ship, already cranked based on the elements of soul. And then you have interaction, reacting in real time. The reason why I call my thing the Real Online Network is because it's in real time, right? So real time means that it's instant. If the module is understood, it doesn't go out of whack where you see something crazy happening in real time. You can see the positive stuff more than you can see the negative stuff happen in real time if you're not allowing the input of whatever anybody wants to put in there because you're operating on the output of high frequency in real time. So the module is alive. What I used to say when I used to break down it before you had Cash App about revenue, you remember?
A revolving budget.
A revolving budget. So as an artist, you have to be prepared, or a small business, you have to be prepared to operate on, say it again?
Revolving budget.
On a revolving budget. The old artist said, this is our budget. In the new module, the budget revolves. You know, it's not based on one set budget. Well, this is the budget that you're going to need. And then this is what we got to recoup back. And then you get paid, or this is the red line. That doesn't happen in an interactive module, in a metaverse type environment. It's a revolving budget. So someone gives you a virtual ticket here. So they're buying a virtual ticket to your online Tiny Desk performance. But then you getting some more money over here. Then you got the merch over here. Then you got your software out here. And you got all these different elements that fluctuate up and down. That means it's a revolving thing. You don't need someone to go identify where your fans are at. That's irrelevant. Right. You can track your fans. You don't even worry about your fans. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds crazy, but the reason why you don't worry about your fans is because fans do what, Reed? What's your favorite saying?
Fans, they only cool you off when you're hot.
So when you hot, the fans cool you off. Fans is another term that comes from an outdated industry. In the new industry, fans cool you off. When you say fan, we know Fan is supposed to be short for fanatic, but we know fans in today's aspect cool you off. If you don't believe me, go listen to 50 Cent. When 50 Cent said, I looked in the audience and everybody wanted the microphone. He said it in a different way, but that's the bottom line of what he said. He said everybody that was in the audience wanted to be on stage. He said, so this is different. And he was right, because the fans, 50 up here killing it, but the fans trying to cool them off because they like, yeah, I want that mic. So we don't focus in the new module on fans. We focus on supporters. And then we support what they're doing as well. That's why I said it's in a sharing, interactive, revolving budget manner. That is when businesses learn how to do that. In the business world, they'll call it B2B, which is not B2K, y'all. B2B, which is business to business. So in the corporate world, they'll say business to business. Facebook is business to YouTube, right? Those are two different businesses, but they're B2B, business to business. The problem with the rappers, they're not doing that. They thinking, I charge this person for a verse, or this hook, or this appearance, and that's how I make my money. That's the outdated logic. The artist, instead of charging for the verses or charging for the appearance, especially when the appearance is online, it just comes through. They do this. Shout out to Hit Boy. He's kind of younger. Shout out to Hit Boy and a few other artists that do it. I think Taylor Swift is a lot more interactive. I'm trying to think of some. I've seen it mostly done by either the new artists like Hit Boy, or either I can't sit here and go through everybody, but I haven't seen it done. I've seen it done by independent artists, right? Independent artists are not just saying pay me and then I'll come through. They're just saying support me and I'll come through. You know, support me and I'll come through, or I'm just gonna come through on the vibe tip. You know what I'm saying? So you got to collaborate. Should you pay an artist? Yes. Should the artist have to use that for the level of meeting? No. And what I'm trying to say is the more interactive the independent artist is online, the more support they're going to get that's going to outweigh anything that the industry is talking about. It is not about running around the United States on a tour bus no more. It's just not. I can sit here and lie to you and say, yeah, man, you get out there, you get on the tour bus, you go city to city, you knock on door to door, you do that, you do that. That's cool if you want to do that. But it's the old module. I don't watch too many people that's not doing that having more success than the rappers that's running around doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the people. You know what I'm saying? I don't brag about my level of business, but you know, I'm a humble person when it comes to bragging about what I got and stuff like that, because material things are just that. They break. They're material things. You know what I'm saying? To me, there's nothing more valuable than family, tribe, humans experiencing each other, and of course, land and food. You know what I mean? So the material thing don't matter that much, you know. So as an artist, getting back to the topic and why we called it immigration, why I called it immigration of hip hop, is because in order for you to enter the United States, they said you had to do it legally, right? The reason why they feel like you have to do it legally, based on their legal terms, is because then they can track and make sure you're not here causing harm to other people. The same way if you want to go to another country, you got to go through certain things. You know, you don't have a passport, you can't even leave this country, right? So hip hop is the same thing. If you bring your ass into hip hop, what this module is going to do when you try to input lies, when you try to delete or do any of that algorithm that doesn't match our rhythm, you're going to get G-checked by the module automatically. So I had to bring it full circle, and I'm not going all the way into depth. That'll be like a whole nother deal, and my mouth getting all dry.
Yeah, we can pick that up next time. But yeah. And the reason why too, you're making just to bring this up real quick. You were saying that it used to be about the material, now it's about the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
That goes like now, like people was all about the material. We got to get these big cameras. We got to do this. We got to have this magnificent video. And today's world, you don't have to have all that. You can really create, go live, do videos, perform, you name it, in the comfort of your fucking phone and your own. You know what I'm saying? Without having to have a big ass sound stage and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying, big studios and stuff. Like it's been shifted from the material to more of you using your spiritual and your talent and stuff, and what you got versus what you think you need to create.
Versus showed us that when they did Versus on Instagram. Shout out to Timberland and Swiss Beats. The reason why that was so successful was because it was based on my module. And when I say my module, it doesn't mean like I'm the owner of it. I'm just saying I was a developer of this module. And like I said, I can prove it. Like I don't want no money from nobody, so don't think that I'm trying to get Swiss Beats check or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I contributed to the culture. You know what I'm saying?
I can remember before everybody went digital, you were saying online tours and stuff like that. Just talking about how everybody was gonna have to come online and stuff like that. Long time ago.
Yeah, nobody even had a live button when I was saying that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had a website back in the day called, what was it called? Tour Online, Web Tour. Yeah, onlinewebtour.com.
Online Web Tour.
Yeah, Online Web Tour. And everybody's like, Online Web Tour? I said, we're going to go on tour state to state through the internet. And I set it up, and everybody thought I was crazy when I was doing it because nobody was talking about live. The same thing with the videos. I always point out that when you see those videos, the rappers with their banners at the top and the banners at the bottom, and then the video in the middle, I brought that to the internet. When you talk about Instagram and you talk about what they did with creating Instagram, I was taking YouTube videos and doing everything that they're doing now as far as chopping them up, editing, putting them with something else, mixing them together. I was doing that before Instagram was creating memes. I was making memes before Instagram created the little meme thing. And I got all the proof in the history there to do that. That's why I said it's not about ego or nothing. It's just about, you know, a lot of times.
Man, a lot of people was not. When I remember years ago when I started working online and stuff, nobody was like working online as much as they are now. Everybody is working online and creating videos and content. Like, I've been doing this for years, but they're just, you know, getting into the mist a year ago about as the operation goes. So to have it in place, like you said, then to prep to now is a beautiful thing because now people have the tools and a kind of blueprint on what to do.
Yeah. So then you got different platforms, like how we were like the first on SoundCloud. Some of the first people, if not the first, using Wix, right? I was taking the Wix websites and turning them into something totally different than what Wix. There wasn't a design on Wix templates or anything. Nobody was taking them websites to that level that I was taking them to. So if you go look around, Now you see 3D graphics everywhere because everybody's prepping for the metaverse. I was prepping for the metaverse before the goggles was on deck. So the 3D graphics and the unique stuff that Wix just started doing through their new site, the X editor. I was back there in the background creating that type of content to take it there. You know what I'm saying? Got all the proof of that, but that's not the point of this conversation. The point to bring it to an end, I want to play before we close it out, Reed. I want to play the rest of this little clip real quick, and then I want to close it out. Okay?
All right. Hey, Bree. I just opened up my YouTube because I had your screen open, so I couldn't see nobody in mine because there was nobody on here. She done came in here.
What up, Bree?
You know, she shouldn't be able to hear you because I got
hear
you.
that fans keep you cool when you're hot and fans add fuel to your fire. You can do concerts online. Facts. What up, Bree?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I just opened that screen. Saw her on here.
Yeah.
Where
was I going?
You say you wanted to play something. One more thing.
Oh yeah, I wanted to play this real quick. Yeah.
But I gotta talk to New York for a second. New York, y'all gotta step up and say something.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
New York gotta step up and say something because that started in the Bronx. And even though it was a lot of Jamaican immigrants coming to New York because that's an island, okay, just like how they were coming to South Carolina.
Right.
It's the same thing. I'm talking about as far as Jamaicans are concerned. But yeah, they were clinging on to our cultures years ago, not just around the hip hop breakdancing era.
That's right.
And you played the video and it proved that. They were influenced by our culture that we already had.
That's right.
They didn't come up with something of their own until later on, after they copied us though.
Right.
So for Busta Rhymes to come out his mouth and say something that's not factual, stating that we don't have a culture, that's an issue. But I gotta get on New York. New York, this is this is where he made the majority of his money from anyway.
That's right.
New York. They put Busta Rhymes on the map as a rapper in New York. He was doing hip hop.
That's right.
He was putting on his English accent, his best North American English accent.
Talk about it. Facts. Yeah.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes was in a group before he went solo. He was in a group called Leaders of the New School.
Right.
Yeah. And but something Dang said, let me see, hold on, real quick.
He made the majority of his money from anyway.
That's right.
New York already had.
That's right.
They didn't come up with something of their own.
Here you go.
It's the same thing. I'm talking about as far as Jamaicans are concerned. But yeah, they were clinging on to our cultures years ago, not just around the hip hop breakdancing era.
That's right.
And you played the video and it proved that. They were influenced by our culture that we already had.
Okay, right there. And then this is what we can. I wish I would have known Bree was on earlier, but this is where we can cipher off from. He said they were influenced by our culture early on, right? So that's what I'm pointing out, that when you come as an immigrant into hip hop, everybody's welcome, but you cannot come in here and change what it was already. I wouldn't go into Japanese culture and try to change their culture. You know what I'm saying? Or take credit for their culture, even though you can go back, way back, and say, okay, well, black people were over there as black samurais and stuff. Right, but just currently, that's when you think of what they're doing over there in China or Japan, That's their culture, right?
Yeah.
So you don't come over here trying to tell us what our culture is, right? And take the soul out of it. So that's why I wanted to speak on that part. And I also wanted to add that the same way Dane is trying to point out that they learned the culture that New York taught them and helped them and supported whatever he was doing inside of hip hop. That was, they're talking about the time that he's talking about. The time that he's talking about is, I think he's talking about like the 80s and the 90s, right? You follow me?
Yeah.
So he's saying that he was influenced by the hip hop culture from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Well, now that means whatever the founding fathers were doing, they wasn't getting credit for doing. And this is where I'm ending it. This is where I'm ending my whole bill tonight. The founding fathers, including James Brown, including them cats from Florida, all the way up to George Clinton, all the way up to George Clinton, all the way up to New York, and the Trixie that was doing the breakdancing, to the Black Spades doing the graffiti tagging, to Kool Herc playing the soul records back to back. We give respect to Kool Herc. Kool Herc showed you love, right?
Yeah.
Kool Herc showed you a lot of love on your music. He deserves more respect for the fact that he's been in it for a long time. He's a pioneer. We're not going to disrespect Kool Herc. Kool Herc is Jamaican. His influence came from the soul of the South, though. Spinning, you can't say, you get credit for it now. Don't get it wrong. So I love Kool Herc. I'm a hip hop head, hip hop baby, and all that. But what I'm trying to say is, if James Brown makes a break beat, right, and the beat is just the funky drummer, boom, 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 bap, boom, 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 and it's just a break beat, and then you say, hey, that's funky. Hey, I'm gonna play that again because they like when I play that part. You didn't create that part. You just playing that part over and over, which is important for what we do now. So Kool Herc gets all the credit for playing James Brown part repeatedly or playing other soul artists' part repeatedly, because we sample doing that. Like we sample, and I told you, for me, sampling is resurrection of a frequency. So salute to that. We're not going to change like certain, truths, right? But this is where I'm closing it at. I'm trying to close that as saying, if Kool Herc story had to be understood, and if we got to do a hip hop documentary for everything to be understood, what makes you think us as the creators of this new era of hip hop online and the digital platform is getting our credit? So do I have to be like James Brown, where everybody be like, hey man, he was on to something, and they just take it and they keep creating all this money off of it, and then y'all don't be like, what is this brother talking about right here? Instead of just taking a piece of it, going to try to duplicate it, you actually work with the brother to make sure that we can keep what we're doing, including what you're doing, Ricky, including what Bree doing, including what all these independent people like Dane is doing, what Top Cats is doing, even Tariq Nasheed. There's so many different people doing so many different things that is talking about the narrative of what we dealt with here in America, that we have to support each other on all of those elements. Even Keith Sweat and all them. Like, if y'all want us, I love Keith Sweat, but Keith Sweat, get with the independent artists on YouTube. Don't be so high up to where you like, come to my platform. Drop in on some of these YouTubers. And that's what Dave's talking about at the end of there. He's trying to say, New York, why don't y'all chime in? So some of the New York rappers that are, from America, know the culture. Tell us about some of the OGs that we don't know about, or either you get on the microphone and start doing it, and put some music out too in new frequency though. Don't do the trap stuff. All the old school artists, put y'all shit out online and communicate with these youngins, younger than you and younger than me, so they can know what it is, so we can protect, respect, and never neglect the culture. That's where I can end it right there. That was part of my bill.
Good stuff, good bill, good bill. I thank you for inviting me on. And I thank you for coming on my platform. And we got to do this again because we got a shitload of information that needs to come out. And it's just the beginning, y'all. Trust me, it's way more. So,
yeah, and please make sure y'all subscribe, because I haven't been on YouTube. She hasn't either, I don't think. So make sure y'all subscribe and share it. Share the video. We don't care if people talk junk about us. We built for all that. We done been through the fire. So make sure y'all subscribe, share, like it, all that stuff they say on YouTube, and get to know us. So we got a lot of information. We are the kind of people that will interact with you. We're not gonna sit here and act like we won't pull you on stage or we won't pay attention. That's why I like Top Cat's page, because it's interactive. Let's get interactive, y'all. All right. One love. My mouth is dry.
Live in peace, not in peace.
She in hers. I'm gonna play the rest. I'm still live. Oh,
yeah, I'm here, but you ain't got me out of there yet.
Oh, I gotta remove you?
Yeah, I mean I can remove myself.
Yeah, you good? Because I'm about to end my show over here.
I mean, I don't know. You gotta remove me, but I'm about to mute myself.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all.
All right. I'm gonna play the rest of this Dane Calloway phone call. Y'all make sure y'all go check out the legendary Top Cats on some of his bills. And subscribe to Hip Hop Mind State. You don't have to agree with everything everybody's saying, but don't be scared to say it. All right, I'm gonna play the rest of this.
That's right.
They didn't come up with something of their own until later on, after they copied our stuff.
Right.
So for Busta Rhymes to come out his mouth and say something that's not factual, stating that we don't have a culture, that's an issue. But I gotta get on New York. New York, this is this is where he made the majority of his money from anyway.
That's right.
New York. They put Busta Rhymes on the map as a rapper in New York. He was doing hip hop.
That's right.
He was putting on his English accent, his best North American English accent.
Talk about it. Facts. Yep.
To sell records.
Yep.
He did songs with Janet Jackson, the sister of Michael Jackson.
Right.
Michael Jackson is the culture.
Yeah.
Hey, you gonna let this guy disrespect Michael Jackson in the culture? I'm telling you, people in New York gotta step up and say something to him. Because he's not the only one. I heard Fat Joe come out his mouth and say something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everybody shot him down quickly.
Yeah.
Saying, nah, the Latino community came later. And so did the Jamaican.
That's right.
The Jamaican community came later. We talking about late 70s, early 80s is when they started coming up. We weren't listening to that over here. And even when it was coming up, we weren't listening to that heavy over here.
That's right.
It was always hip hop. And prior to hip hop, you got to give it to the James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the James Browns, you got to give it to all the people that they named, the Supreme.
Yep.
You name it, every single R&B group. And it's odd because P. Diddy just recently came out and said that R&B is dead.
Right.
R&B isn't dead, it just evolved. That's all it did. That's all it did. I mean, but we allowing all these people to come in and infiltrate our culture. Not only just Jamaicans and Latinos, the whites infiltrated the culture. Because look who's making the millions and millions and millions of dollars.
That's right.
It ain't our people. It's some Jews that's behind these record companies.
Why I knew it. That's right. Go ahead.
I just saw a statistic that they put up. They just put this up recently stating that the record labels, major record labels, make $2.56 million per hour off of artists that stream.
Wow.
Per hour. I'm going to say this again. The major record companies make $2.56 million per hour off of streaming music. Now, just imagine how much money they're making that is not being given to the artists. This is on us. This is on us. Like, real talk. Like, we can say, yeah, we got the culture, but do we have control of the culture?
Right.
That's the issue. We got to take control of the culture.
That's right.
It's not about the, like, we can sit Busta Rhymes down and school him because that's what the problem is. He's not educated. We can sit him down and school him. Same thing with Fat Joe. But what about the end result? The end result is it's these Jews that's running the industry.
Right now, but hold on. Wait. Just do me a favor, not to cut your wisdom, because they do be fucking up my channel. I know what you mean, but just say small hats.
I know what you mean. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. They're doing the exact same shit to my channel.
Right.
And I totally forgot that you on YouTube. I know how they going.
All right.
And look who running YouTube.
Leon Cohen, all that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Right. Let's get it.
I'm just saying they got it all, and we allowed them to take that.
Okay, I gotta chime in. I know. I gotta chime in. Let me shut up. Okay, yeah, I gotta chime in on that one. I know I was supposed to end, but I got to chime in on that. Okay, so I want to point out something. And when I say this, if it gets to Dane and he want to have a conversation, we got that conversation, right? I'm getting a little tired of a repeated thing that I'm hearing in a lot of different podcasts, right? Where they're always pointing out this, somebody took something and we ain't got. And to me, that's like just gonna be honest. It's a weak perspective. It's like a pump. It's like if you keep talking about somebody took or what we ain't got, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't come from that. I don't come from somebody taking something from me and I don't have something. I just don't come from that. And I don't push that on the future generation either. So that part, I agree with, a lie is a lie. We got to check the lie, or the misunderstanding is a misunderstanding. What I don't get is when people are sitting there acting like we some kind of, like somebody could take something from you. You know what I'm saying? That narrative needs to stop. As far as, we can't, they took this, they took this. We got to look at what we got instead of talking about what somebody took. And the focus, so the same way, we got to straighten out certain things with the culture. This generation don't do the same thing that you saying that was done before. So like what I'm trying to say is, if you're sitting there saying they lied to us, we wasn't slaves, this, we all didn't come from Africa, or this particular one. If you're debunking that, if you're saying Busta Rhymes is not saying what he's saying correctly because of the culture, right? Then don't in the same breath turn around and say that somebody is taking something from us. It's you speaking. It's then it's like okay, it's like an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? It's like you going back and forth, and then it's almost like you preaching the same agenda that you preaching against. So that part I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. We don't have our culture or that we're not benefiting in the culture. You just have to look at it from the new module. So don't get up here and do like some outdated stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like don't use the slip in order to introduce another. Not saying he's doing this. I'm just saying how it can come across. It can come across like you like, man, the Jews are making all the money and we broke, aka we some slaves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no slave. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not broke. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of other brothers that are not slaves or not broke. You know what I'm saying? Or very wealthy, not based on some other outdated thing that some artists may have done. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put that on everybody. Not saying you are, but I'm just saying that's how it come off. So yeah, that part, that part there, I ain't feeling that part.
We allowed them to take that, especially something that we built. Like, for example, to go to that, social media. Like, for example, TikTok. TikTok didn't pop off until our people. Until our people made it pop off. Viral dances, viral things, viral clips of music. And then everybody else copies. They get it from us first. We are the influence in the arts and entertainment.
Yep.
We are. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We started the arts and entertainment. Nobody else over here in America started the arts and entertainment but us.
That's right.
Everybody else that came here watched and wanted to join because it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true what he just said. As far as we came up with the arts and entertainment and stuff as far as on this side of the globe. But like I said, when you mentioned TikTok has been doing some things where they say they've been inputting the data to stop some of the black creators. So like if you're a black creator on TikTok, they'll input that data to slow down what they call algorithm, to slow it down or whatever. But it's no different than, like I said, what you can learn from the old module is some people say, I wanted to be on TV. So then their whole job and focus was to get on TV. You didn't make it if you don't get on TV. That was how the old module was. If you ain't on the radio, then you didn't make it. But before the radio, there was this thing called what they would call the chicken or chitlin circuit or something, where you would just go independently on joints, right? That's what is going on online in the new module. So it's like the new module has reverted back to the old module, but in a digital way. So if you look at it from that approach, then it's how you carry it from that approach on, not based upon someone controlling what you can and can't do. But if you listen to, if you wouldn't have thought James Brown was crazy when he was saying some of the stuff he was saying, and you actually follow what he was saying, then for some artists, they would have came out in better situations, right? And some did. Some stayed in their lane and didn't care about being confused, right? Same with Prince. Prince dropped a lot of jewels, and he told us a lot of things that are being utilized today in this new module, right? So my main thing is don't point out the problem, and then after you point out the problem, you don't offer the solution. You just point out more problems. At what point do you stop talking about the problems and provide a solution? And then the excuse sometimes be that people don't know. Well, they're gonna know because you're promoting the problem, right? So I ain't saying don't address problems, but the way that you address a problem, this is my opinion, right? The way that you address a problem is by the solution. So if you don't got a solution, why you addressing the problem? So that's not a shot. It may sound like one, but it's not. It's just a trick. Okay, let me play this. Some people gonna hate on me. They're gonna be like, "Oh, so now you're doing YouTube?" Yeah, I done did everything else. So I don't care about your thoughts. All right, let me play this.
Just like our ancestors were before the foreigners got here. They saw us dancing in the circle to our own music, and they wanted to join because they saw us having so much fun.
That's right.
We got to stop allowing these people that want to claim that they are friends infiltrate because they're coming in with flowers to make it seem as if we cool when the gun is in their back pocket.
That's right. Let me ask you this question. What is our culture? What do our culture means to you? However you want to interpret
everything. That's what I'm about. I'm actually, my whole channel is based on our culture.
Right.
Because our culture was stolen. Our culture was stolen.
Let them build. Our culture wasn't stolen. Our culture wasn't stolen. It wasn't stolen. And I'm willing to, because like I said, there's some things I agree with, some things I don't. And I'm willing to debate anybody about it. You know what I'm saying? You can't steal. You can borrow. You can copy. You can't steal our culture. You can't empower and take away power at the same time. You can't say that we're these magnificent, powerful beings that do all this for the culture, but then it can be stolen. That's a contradiction. It's like you're saying you got it and the devil at the same time. Which one is it? Or are you both? It's confusing. That'll confuse the generations that's listening. And I know he's like younger than me. But what I'm trying to say is stand in the power, stop going back and forth. There ain't nobody steal anything. People be standing on some grass, be like, they stole the land. Like, you standing on the grass. We hungry out here. It's an apple tree. So some of this stuff is a repeat of pimping. You know what I'm saying? Or a repeat pattern of, process pimping. You know what I'm saying? Because some people be like, yo, I'm hungry. And it's the grapes right there, bro. They stole the land. Why you walking? Like, it's just when you deal with reality, ultimate reality, and then ultra reality, you get out of the illusions of the matrix and the marketing or the pimp game that somebody might be trying to run, and you can pay attention to everything and look at it from all kind of different angles, right? Like the metaverse, you can flip the shit, spin it all around, right? But at the end of the day, if you preaching to the youth, you wasn't slaves, but they stole everything from you. It's okay if you're doing that, and then you got a solution behind that. Get to the solution part, because the youth that heard the same story enough times, and even older people, everybody's heard this story enough times. What is the solution? When Dr. Omar Johnson, I'm on one tonight, y'all, because I got energy for it. I don't know, maybe it's Labor Day. When Omar Johnson went on the Breakfast Club, and anybody that goes on something like the Breakfast Club, a radio show, and they speaking to themselves on behalf of the culture, you should be prepared for that rebuttal of how people, want to respond. So Charlemagne the God asked him almost, I gotta run that clip one time, but he asked him a bunch of times throughout that interview, what is the solution? And then you know why the black people can't got this? Because the black people, what they try to do? When Martin Luther King tried to do, what they try to do? And he's like, okay. So what's the solution? Charlemagne was like, okay, so what's the solution? What's the solution? It took him all the way to the end of the show. Y'all go back and look at that Omar Johnson interview. It took him all the way to the end of the show where he finally, we waited, and he finally said what his solution was. I waited. I was like, okay, Charlemagne, if Charlemagne asks him that one more time, I'm going, and this man don't answer, I'm a trip. So then he finally answers. He had a 3-point solution. And I could have swore throughout the whole thing he was saying marching don't work, marching don't work, marching don't work. But in that 3-point solution, the first thing he said we had to do was march. Hey, brother, that's your opinion. That's what you think. I don't knock it. It's not a diss. It's just my point is saying that we talked about all the problems before he got to the solution. Then when he got to the solution, it was only I think it was like 3 points. And it started with marching, but during the conversation, he was saying marching doesn't work. And then, so what I'm trying to say is, if we run the same narrative repeatedly instead of capital, I'm not saying that you don't talk about whatever you want to talk about, but what I'm trying to say is the solutions are there, and one of the easiest and simplest solutions when it comes to the culture is get busy. You know what I'm saying? As far as creating. I bought all Busta Rhymes records. Okay, great. Did you buy your homeboy record that stay next door to you? Well then, stop talking about Busta Rhymes. Outside of the context, I mean, G-check him on this is hip hop culture, but are you supporting the culture? You know what I'm saying? So to me, everything has a solution if you start with the solution first, and then if you want to talk about the problem, you can talk about the problem.
Our legacy was stolen. Our history was stolen. Our language was stolen. This is what I'm about. I'm about fighting, and if you want to call me an activist, fine. I'm about fighting to keep it in the known amongst our people.
Right.
Because we were told by strangers a whole different story that aligned us with who? Foreigners. And we're not foreign to this land.
That's right.
We've been here before any of those people came here.
Facts.
That's what I'm about. That's all I'm about.
Facts. In New York, definitely. That's why I'm doing my duty. They woke up the dog. They woke us out our sleep, and I don't want us to fall asleep again. And I'm gonna do my job to make sure that we don't. But everybody has to fall in line. This can't just be this temporary shit, because culture is important. This is all we have. This is in our DNA. We can't give up and be careless with our fucking culture. And we done it. And look where it's gotten.
See, he said, this culture is in our DNA. If you believe that the culture is in your DNA, how can somebody mess with your DNA? You know what I'm saying? Like, your DNA is right there right now. So I'm not dissing these brothers. I'm just getting to the solution parts. You know what I mean? Because they mention the solution all the time.
And us. You can't do this shit no more.
I was fighting so hard to let people know that we didn't come from Africa. Now look what happened. Now you got the ADOS, the FBA. Now people are seeing that we were already here. And I'm glad at that. I'm glad that worked, because now that's going to put more emphasis on knowing our culture and claiming our culture, to force everybody to respect who we are, to respect who we are and what we have done. But a person like Busta Rhymes talking like that, that wouldn't fly if people knew their history.
That's right. Niggas would have been on his heels already. You know what I'm saying?
Quickly.
Immediately.
New York got to step up and talk and
see, that's the other part. People, not the youngins, they may not know all the history. And people do know the history when it comes to the real history. You're talking about entertainment business. Entertainment business, when you go watch a movie and they say this movie is going to be based on James Brown, they're not going to give you every real story about James Brown. It's going to be something that they can make the most money off of based on some of the elements of his journey, but it's also going to be put in a thing where it can be digested from multicultural perspective. So it's not going to be straight up that. We know that that is Hollywood industry, music industry, code of business. Don't confuse that with our culture and our history and our business. The more we focus on the culture of our business, the more they want to know our business. Not just the history of it, I'm talking about the world wants to know, but also how are y'all maneuvering now? What's the next move? TikTok wasn't popping until we got on it. That other blog, it wasn't popping until we got on it. We blowing up these companies. Okay, what does that mean? Are you blowing up your own companies? You know what I'm saying? Are we going on these platforms like I'm on right now and communicating with each other? Wherever we go, we blow the spot up. We know that. That's not a bad thing. So I just want to throw that out there. All right, let me keep going.
School bus around.
Right.
That started in the Bronx, way before Busta Rhymes, way before reggae even showed up.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if they had immigrant parents. That doesn't mean that the music was influenced by Jamaica. If they had immigrant parents, that means they were here influenced by Americans.
That's right.
They came here. We were already here. And that's what I don't understand. Like, I think he was doing that. I don't know if he paid to do that or what. He made money off of our culture. For him to sit there and say, we don't have a culture, I wish I could strip from him everything that I'm talking about every accolade, every dollar bill he ever made.
Yeah.
There's no way that you're going to say something like that and think it's a stick.
I totally fucking agree. I totally agree. There it is. Hey, man, there's no need for me to tell you to promote your shit because they know you. But if you want, give your links, contacts, all that good shit, man.
I'm Dane Calloway on YouTube. I'm just here to make you think everywhere else. I'm just here to make you think.com. I got a little side of mine that's coming as well that's going to do 10 steps ahead of what they got going on with this campaigning us as far as being the originators in America. I got something coming up on that as well because I got to do my part. Of course, I'm about the history of it and educating people on it, but I also have to campaign it to the younger generation because we in our 30s. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's our generation that's going to have to make the change.
There it is.
I'm just surprised that he came out his mouth like that, man.
Me too,
I really am,
man.
but
that's fucking crazy. And it made me, like you said, you paid money to buy his albums. He was the only artist that I spent my money on his albums. Everything else bootleg. I went to the stores. I took the train downtown Brooklyn to buy it, family. Cash. And this what you say. I have no respect for
back
you.
Back then, it was $23 to buy his albums. I never forget it. Sometimes it'd be on sale
for $14.
I had all of them.
Come on, man. Come on, this is coming from true fans that loved you, family, that respected your craft and supported the movement. This is coming from true fans, family. No haters.
I'm upset with him, but it's all about educating him because he's not educated on it. He's not. He's not. Like, I mean, it's no need to lie. I mean, your influence is your influence.
That's right.
It's not like we're trying to knock them for that, but when you turn around and say that we ain't got no culture, there's a problem.
That's right. Hey, man, listen.
Yeah. So then the solution would be, and I'm in this, y'all. The solution would be, if they think that we don't have no culture, the solution would be to show them the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, get busy, flex on them. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what we're gonna do, that's what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Even though I think that was incorrect as far as saying that we don't have no culture over here, and that we, you know, the whole narrative is just kind of corny, to be honest. And then when I heard somebody else speak about it, and they said this is gonna take the focus off while y'all talking about the blacks and Latinos, Jamaicans and Latinos, and who created the culture and stuff. We about to debate over the culture. Meanwhile, the person that has been disrupting the culture, or whatever, is running off with the money, and we're just gonna let them off the hook. I'm saying, I'm kind of, and I may be in a class by myself, I don't know, but I'm tired of talking about the problems. I'm like, can y'all put out some podcasts about the solutions? Like, everybody's pointing out the problems. Everybody, look at this, look at this. Did you know this? Did you know this? You got to know the problem before you can know the solution. If you don't know the solution after all these years, you know, keep putting out your podcast about the problems. I'm on the solutions though, right? And anybody want to challenge me on the solutions, I'll let you boy. I've been doing this for a minute. I'm going to sleep so I can get back up and be right back on it again. That's the solution.